that we will visit today. 1, the City of Blue Springs is asking voters to consider the issuance of not to exceed $65 million in combined water and sewer system revenue bonds. 2, the Jackson County Fire Protection District is asking voters to consider $20 million in general revenue bonds and a quarter-cent sales tax. That's a half-cent sales tax. 3, the City of Blue Springs has 3 council seats with 5 candidates running. And 4, the Blue Springs School District has 3 open board seats with 5 running. I believe all 10 candidates are in the room or will be soon. First, we will spend about 5 minutes hearing from the mayor of Blue Springs, Chris Levasseur, about the city's ballot issue, and then the same amount of time from Central Jackson County Fire Protection Chief Kirk Lair. Is he in the room? We'll have somebody. So first up, then we'll move on to the candidates. I'll go ahead and add this part as well. There are 5 candidates running for the 3 open spots on the Blue Springs City Council. We have 2 candidates in District 1, Jesse Grimm and Jerry Kaler. We have 2 candidates in District 2, Byron Cradoff and Brian Markworth. And finally, we have 1 candidate in District 3, Nick Brummel. All of them are here tonight. There are also 5 candidates running for 3 open spots on the school board. The candidates are Allison Johnston, Ken Harrell, Joseph Donahue, Rebecca Swank, and Joe Frigo. They are all here tonight, or I think one's on the way. So let's first discuss the proposed City of Blue Springs ballot issue, and to do so, Mayor Levasseur.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fox, and thank you to the chamber for again allowing this opportunity to have some insight into the candidates and the election that we're having on April 7th. I have probably the easiest, but not less important, to bring your attention to an item on the April 7th election. The city has an election for revenue bonds. Now, different from general obligation bonds, this has nothing to do with your property taxes. These revenue bonds are paid for by the fees collected from sewer fees that are already collected by the city. And so in order to attach into the state revolving fund, Clean Water State Revolving Fund, part of that program is we have to pay those with these revenue bonds that have to be approved by the voters. And so the only result of not participating in the state revolving fund, which is a low interest loan provided by the state of Missouri, is that we'll have to find another loan to pay for this project. We still have to meet the compliance issues. The EPA issued new regulations that the Snaya Bar Wastewater Treatment Center has to meet by 2030. We're going to have to meet that deadline here in the next few years. And so the state revolving funds allows us access to funds at a low interest rate through the state of Missouri. If we're not allowed to participate in that program, we'll have to find another loan, a market rate loan, something from a bank that will be at a higher interest rate. And so we want to be wise with the taxpayers' dollars, and we think this is the way to achieve this project with the least amount of impact to the taxpayers and allow us to not only meet compliance, but future capacity needs. And so you'll see that election on the ballot April 7th. If you have questions or need more information, the easiest way to get a hold of me is mayor@bluespringsgov.com. That will be bluespringsmo.gov here in April, but should be after the election. So mayor@bluespringsgov.com. And then we'll be glad to provide more information. There's also information on the city's website. There's been a couple of news articles about it. I've done a video about it. Lots of information out there. Feel to reach out with any questions. We'll be glad to provide that to you. So that's all I have for the afternoon, and good luck to all the candidates for the rest of the day. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Did Chief Lair make it? Okay, well, in his place, we have Deputy Chief Nathan Manley from the Central Jackson County Fire Protection District to discuss their issue.
Thank you. Thank you again to the chamber for having this event. We really appreciate it. Just want to take a couple moments to educate you guys or just provide information on the 2 ballot issues that we have coming up in April. The first one is a bond renewal for $20 million. The biggest project on that is we're looking to rebuild station number 2. It's located over at Kings Ridge and Woods Chapel. It was built in 1985 when we only had 1 individual assigned to that station. and now there's a minimum of 5. So we've exceeded that building, and we're looking to rebuild it. With that, we're also looking at replacing some fire trucks. Our ladder truck, the only one that we have as a frontline ladder truck, is due for replacement, as well as replacing our air packs, turnout gear, which are also due for replacement, and then some critical IT equipment. As everybody knows, the world of cybersecurity has really grown in our realm, so needing to upgrade that equipment. Question number 2 is about the regarding the half-cent sales tax. What we're looking to do with this is add 12 firefighters to add another fire engine at our Station 1. Calls for service have risen 51% in the last 10 years, so our service demand is going up even after the times of COVID. So we're looking at adding more staff. What this does is ensures that our apparatus maintain our response times, reliability for those calls. And the biggest thing is it helps maintain the ISO 1 rating. So that rating is the best that we can get, and to make sure that we keep your insurance premiums as low as they can. So with that, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask any one of us in the white shirts. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now let's move on to candidates. We'll start with those running for the city council. At this time, I'd like to ask them to come up and please move to the front of the room. To keep it simple, we already drew for the order in which candidates will speak or answer questions. So if generally candidates like to kind of organize themselves 1 through 5, so I'll go ahead and give you that order. It goes Byron Kredoff, 1 here, then Jerry Kaler, then Nick Brummel, then Brian Markworth, and then Jesse Grimm. So if those 5 people want to come down. And candidates will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then next we'll go 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, then 3, 4. So we kind of keep it moving. And each candidate will be permitted 2 minutes for his or her opening statement. I think it's his opening statement. After the opening statements by the candidates, we'll have questions and answers. For the question and answer period, we'll ask the candidates keep their responses to no more than 1 minute. That can be a little tricky. Both the opening remarks and the answers to questions will be timed. John, this is the person you're going to get in trouble with if you can't do the 2 minute, 1 minute thing. Yeah. There we. Yeah, that's the sound of moving on. You don't want. So the timekeeper's got signs. So let's begin. Let's start with the candidates' opening statements. Those will be 2 minutes each. And the first candidate up is Byron Kredoff.
Good evening, and thanks for being here. My name is Byron Kredoff, and I'm running for City Council District 2 because Blue Springs is growing. And I believe growth works best when it's built on strong foundations. I believe that my background in environmental science, quality control, and public service has taught me that smart communities maintain infrastructure, they support public service, and they take care of and protect their taxpayers' investments. I support strong environments in neighborhoods that support local business, and I also believe that long-term developments should protect the city's values. If you'd like to know more about my background, please go to CredoffCityCouncil.com.
All right, next up, candidates, there are 5 of you and 2 microphones, and we're going to assume you can work that out. Next up, Jerry Kaler.
Well, good evening and welcome to CJC. Hey, I want to just thank everybody from Central Jack and the Chamber and the Examiner for hosting this. As was said, I'm Jerry Kaler, District 1 City Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem. And I'm just the normal guy that doesn't do any flower speeches. I'm just a hands-on kind of guy that just gets in and does the work. The thing is, I've done things for the city of Blue Springs and that I could go on list, but he's already given me times where I can't do anything. He's always been a hassle. But We have accomplished a lot with the citizens of Blue Springs, taking care of them and their needs. We've helped out with people that are done their snow plows. They didn't think they get plowed into good enough, or somebody just wanted to talk. 27 minutes I spent with them just because they wanted to talk. And I enjoy being the city council at District 1. I have a passion, and I really, really got that desire to take care of the people in District 1, because you have to have representation and you have to have somebody that listen. And I do both of those. So remember, Jerry for District 1.
Next up with the 2-minute opening comment is Nick Brummel.
Started. I'm Nick Brummel, District 3. I got appointed last January, so I've had about a little over a year here in the city council. It's been an honor to serve everybody. Background on me is I moved here in 2014. I've had a small business here since 2012, and just look forward to continue to serve the city in any way I can. Plain and simple.
Next up is for a 2-minute opening statement is Brian Markworth.
Yeah. My name is Brian Markworth. I've lived in Blue Springs since 2009. My wife and I bought our first house here in town. We have grown 4 children up through the school district. That's why we moved to Blue Springs, is because of the good schools we have here in town. One of the better decisions that we have made. My background with city work is I'm current vice chair with Parks Commission, where we work to make sure that tax dollars are going in and being spent appropriately, and making sure that the city's getting what they want out of that. I would say that our parks are starting to rival our schools, but another great reason for folks to come to Blue Springs. My career background, I come from the carpenter field. I am a union journeyman carpenter, worked my way up through foreman, superintendent, and I now am a senior quality specialist. My background is building teams at work and making sure things are getting done as they're supposed to. So I believe Blue Springs deserves experienced leadership, someone who shows up for the community and is willing to put in that work. So Markworth on April 7th, brianmarkworth.com, where you can find more about me. Thank you.
And 2 minutes of opening comments from Jesse Grimm.
How y'all doing? My name's Jesse Grimm. I'm running for City Council for District 1. Yeah, you're going to find out that I'm an Air Force vet of 24 years. You're going to find out that I was born in Seattle, and there's a lot of information that you can find out at electjessegrimm.com. But honestly, since I've retired here, I've noticed that we need some solutions to the problems we have, especially District 1. We've got a lot of initiatives that have been tried to be pushed. I don't quite agree with the way they've been handled. I'm generally a person that comes with solutions. In my career, the Air Force, they've called on me multiple times. When the Dutch needed someone to teach their aircraft mechanics how to work on their aircraft, that $1 million contract, they went through thousands of different candidates. They chose me because they know I can get stuff done. I have solutions. I've taught countless people how to troubleshoot, how to solve problems. Good example, we have a problem right now where my district is paying attention to recreational inhalants. Prohibition is not the solution. That puts your law enforcement at risk. It deteriorates the relationship between the community and law enforcement and creates an adversarial nature and risks public safety and personal safety to the officers. You have to levy taxes. It has to be regulated out. Good example of that, gas in Washington State. They wanted to drive everybody to run EVs. So what do? They taxed the gas. And now you can't drive through Seattle without one city block passing by an EV. You regulate it out. You can find more about me, like I said, at electjessegrimm.com. I'm here for you.
So this question goes first to Jerry Kaler, and then we'll go down and end up back on this end. The question is this: over the last 10 years, The city's had multiple economic development personnel, a new one every 1 or 2 years. Currently, there's no one in this role. Do you think that this has hurt the image of Blue Springs? And what should be done to rectify that?
There's many reasons why there's not one there, but the thing of it is we've had a couple of good ones that have gone on and went to the state of Missouri also. To rectify it, there's been a plan laid out, and there is an avenue that has been working. It's just getting the right people together to put the product together. It's like anything with the gears on the wheels. You have to have the gears going together and fluctuating. You get a gear out of sync, then it throws everything off. And that's what's happened in the last 2 times. We've had an activities director in there, but it is smoothing out. But as we all know, it doesn't take, it takes more than just a little bit of time to turn the ship around. It takes a while for it to reverse itself and make that turn. So it is looking better in the future, real soon. So.
Jerry Brummel, is there a problem there? What should the city be doing? Nick, I'm sorry, I mixed up 2 people. Oh, that's somebody's owed an apology. We'll sort that out later.
Turn it off already.
I don't think it's hurt our image, but I do think that we do need to find the solution to it, and we're working through that on the city administration side. We discussed it yesterday in a meeting, so I think there's ways that we're going to work through it, and it's just going to take some time, like Jerry said, and it's finding the right person. Without the right person, there's no point doing it. So it's just going through the process, working with the chamber, working with other organizations, and as a community, working on economic development.
Brian Markworth, your thoughts?
Yeah. Hello. I think my response is a little bit of what they're sharing here. I don't know that it's necessarily hurt us, but we sure haven't made a lot of strides in economic growth in the last few years. I do think that ship is riding to where what is coming is going to be what the folks in Blue Springs want to see. So I agree, Jerry. It is not a overnight solution. I do think it's going to take relationships with the chamber, with other business owners in town to make sure that image is what folks from out of town are wanting to be seen, to be part of Blue Springs, the Blue Springs that we want to see, and make Blue Springs the best it can be. So,
Jesse Grimm, the questions about the Economic Development Director. What do you think?
All right, the economic development of our city. Obviously, all of that hinges on money. I think our best solution is to develop what, let's see, I was told you can call it a retirement account for the city. In international terms, it would be called a sovereign wealth fund. Those things can help push development, can help businesses, and can help lower levied taxes against our businesses. You're going to see that as our market starts to drive customers away because we have a 0.5% higher sales tax than our neighboring municipalities, you're going to see that a lot of people leave. And the only thing that's going to be left are the addictable consumables. And that's going to be alcohol, smoke shops, sugar, and coffee. Okay? So that's all you're going to see. And then the pawn shops show up and the crime goes up.
And back on this end, Brian.
Repeat the question.
Yeah, let's do that. Over the last 10 years, the city's had multiple economic development personnel. A new one, it seems, every 1 or 2 years. Currently, there's no one in that role. Do you think that this has hurt the image of Blue Springs? And what should be done to rectify that?
I believe it has affected the image of Blue Springs. How badly, no one's know. But I think back in 2021, when we had our assistant city manager, before he left, he mentioned that we needed to work on a new comprehensive plan. And ever since then, it seems like our staff, we have had a large turnover in staff. There's some things going on the council and things that happen behind closed doors and executive meetings, I'm sure that we don't know about, and in chamber meetings and so forth. I think that there needs to be a real conversation about how the city's moving forward. And I'm sure there's been some disagreements. And that's probably part of the reason why some people have left. And I think it's noticeable. I think that some kind of way we've got to right this ship, come together and do more collaborations with other people. And it starts with our city council. And I think leadership has to be mature enough to get together and have those conversations and figure out why we keep having these changes. I think we're on track, and I think we're doing some of the right things, but we've got to, sorry.
This question is going to go first to Nick Brummel. What do you see as the most important thing the city of Blue Springs should be focusing on in the next 5 to 10 years, and how will you work to get that done?
Well, we just got done with our strategic plan and we're working through a comp plan. I think that's the most important thing, is to follow that with everything that we've heard from the citizens and just make sure that we're following everything that everybody's asked for. Everybody asked for roads. The roads are starting to get done. The parks are getting done. So we just need to follow the plans that are being put in place.
And Brian Markworth.
Repeat that question, please.
Yeah. Eyes aren't working tonight. What do you see as the most important thing the city of Blue Springs should be focusing on in the next 5 to 10 years, and how will you work to get that done?
Yeah. I am excited about our downtown district. I know that is something that our citizens want to see. We've been talking about it for a while. Plans are in place. Those efforts have been put there, but now it's going to take the energy to get that done. Our community is becoming youthful. We're kind of growing into that next generation of citizens, and what they want to see with their community. I think the downtown area, I think areas of Woods Chapel are going to see what that next generation wants to have with Blue Springs.
Jesse Grimm, the most important thing next 5 to 10 years.
The most important thing next 5 to 10 years is definitely going to be shaping our city to be very family friendly. Give things to do from kids that have just graduated high school, so that they're not thinking that they need to sit out in front of their parents' house and smoke out. That was disappointing when I was walking and canvassing in precinct 29. We need to give things for people to do, so they're not feeling either hopeless or desperate. You have to, I think our city plan to be more pedestrian friendly and encourage commerce. We need to work in city council to make sure that we can fund that and have plans to make sure that it gets funded, so that when we can pivot when we got to make adjustments, and we're not looking for more bonds and putting our city in more debt.
Byron Cradoff, you're up. What is the biggest thing next 5 to 10 years?
I think the biggest thing, great question. The biggest thing is our infrastructure and our development and the growth of our city. Like some of the guys have mentioned here this evening, they talked about downtown. That's been a big issue for a long time. But I think our infrastructure leads the way. Our sewers are the leader in the economic development. We've got something on the ballot that's coming up that talks about the water bond, but the infrastructure downtown and all that is combined. It goes together. You can't talk about one without talking about the other. Because one, you're looking above the ground, and when you're looking beneath the ground. Before you develop anything, you got to make sure that's fixed. We have huge issues about the roads right now and what we're going to put up in different areas and how we develop. And people and citizens are always talking about those issues. So once we get the infrastructure straight, I think the businesses will come, and then we can start developing a little bit better. But I think growth and development and infrastructure is really important now.
Jerry Kaler, next 5 or 10 years, what's the big thing?
Well, the infrastructure is already starting to be replaced. You can see the big stuff on Walnut, I think there's 22 patch places that is on 22, 25 of them in less than a 6 block. So infrastructure is already being taken care of. The streets on Walnut will be replaced soon, but we were waiting on Spire to be done with that. There's a new sewer distribution that goes down south. But I think downtown, revitalizing downtown, and now that there is a plan, there's a good plan, and we'll see some action. then you're going to see a lot more excitement of what's going on downtown. So that's where I think it is a revitalizing of downtown.
So this next question goes to Brian Markworth first. A couple of candidates have mentioned the comprehensive plan. So let's follow up on that. How do you plan to participate in the comprehensive plan update?
So I gave some input as this was kind of shared with the community. I like where it's going. You ask, how do I plan to provide input or get it done, right? So I've got a passion for Blue Springs. I want to see the best version of Blue Springs. I think the plan that we have in place is going to furnish that. And so it's just going to take the energy and the effort to push that forward. So that's what I'll provide.
Jesse Grimm, what do you think?
The vision is great. It needs a steward. Public service, that's what it's going to take. We're going to need to get involved to make sure that there's going to be periods of time where we're going to question certain developments or certain businesses getting moved in. So it is vital that we establish a conduit of communication between the constituency, and that's everybody, all 61,000. You need to have more town halls. You need to have inputs. You need to have a direct line of communication to the people that matter, all of us, and to recognize that each of us only has one vote. I mean, in the community, I am as equal as every one of you. We need to have that relationship where we're going to move this city forward together. And that when there's things that are coming up that we are exposed to, it's important that I give you the information unprompted so that you can debate and you can have a proper decision and democracy will prevail. We will have a better city working together.
Byron Cradoff, the question's a little bit granular, but it comes back to this. What is it you plan to do to be involved in the comprehensive plan update?
Well, I'd like to go back to the table and talk about the things that have already been planned. We were talking about the bond issue again with the water situation. Since those figures had became what they are, we've had tariffs situations where the funding is changing. So we're going to have to go back and look at how all that's going to work. We need to have more conversations about what is planned because we might not be able to finish all this infrastructure that we started. We might have to go in and the contractors might ask for more money, and we might have to go back to the table and recalibrate. We need to be clarified more with the citizens and bring to their attention the things that might happen, like the mayor was asking about things this evening. Things can change, and I think we need to be more upfront and talk about what we need to do before we start putting things like apartments up, how we should get the infrastructure straightened out. Is all that going to be sufficient enough to put those things in place? Do we have the parking? Do we have is there too much density? Is there not enough density? Are the roads are going to be good enough for all of this to occur? So we need to have more conversations before we rush anything and talk about what's really should happen.
Jerry Kaler, comprehensive plan. What is it? What's your role going to be there?
Well, the plan is a good plan. Finally, we've come up and we had a plan brought to us. The thing of it is, you cannot, it's like a puzzle. You have many, 150, 200 pieces of puzzle in there. You can't just jump in and start, this is going to fit right here, this is going to fit right here. You have to put the whole picture together to get the pieces in the right place. So with that being said, yes, there is a plan, but you got to have the fortitude to go forward and do that and make it work. And it can work. And what's been on the table the last couple of months, and the mayor's done a real good job doing it, directing, and I'm excited to see what's coming up.
And finally, Nick Brummel, what are your thoughts here on the plan, what you should do with it personally?
Yeah, so it's communicating it out to everybody and listening, following up on emails, answering your phone when citizens call, and just also being there for the staff when they go to implement things. When they implement it, make sure we're supportive to them as well. So it's just a multiple prong on that deal of making sure that we're listening, making sure we're following it, and then giving support where it's needed.
So let's follow up on another thing that's come up a couple times. Let's go downtown. This question goes first to Jesse Grimm. It's, what is your vision for downtown revitalization?
I want to see a very pedestrian-friendly shopping environment with places for people to people watch, for communities to come together. I think there's been some beautiful examples of that around the United States. If you want to look at like Greenville, North Carolina, beautiful kind of pedestrian-centered walk. Camas, Washington has a Oak Tree Station, which is a pavilion that much like what we see in the Green Walk in Lee Summit, but it also has positions for food trucks, and you have like a baseball-sized field that allows families to come together, and it's a social place. We want places people want to be, want to socialize, come together, and that's going to attract people from other environments, from other municipalities, and we're going to drive more business into our city, and that gives us more stuff to do. Build more cool things like the field house.
Byron Cradoff, what's your vision for downtown?
As I mentioned before, we don't want to put the cart before the horse. Should we put the pipes before the people? We must stop treating our water system and downtown growth as separate issues. They are the same. Downtown is on the same sewer system. This is a system-wide project, not a neighborhood pipe replacement. Adding 200 apartments to a system that already needs a $65 million bill is adding a second story, like adding a second story house to a cracked foundation. The existing downtown area was originally designed for lower population and will be overwhelmed by new development, leading to a decline in quality of life, maybe. There are some concerns about the roads can increase in density. Parking and design may be worrisome, and development may feel rushed to some people. We should not subsidize luxury apartments that freeze tax revenue while increasing loads on schools and roads. Real revitalization means housing for our workforce and seniors first, rather than giving developers breaks that eventually shift the tax burden onto the existing homeowners. Some concerns: new buildings mean the developers don't pay their full share for years. Big projects like this, homeowners may make a difference in the city budget. New luxury units can increase property values, so local seniors on fixed incomes can no longer afford their taxes.
Jerry Kaler, what's your vision for downtown?
Well, if you've been around here, you notice we've had several town halls with all kinds of ideas and all kinds of drawings and all kinds of wanting to bring back to the table. Some people hadn't even bothered to even show up down at some of these meetings to even know what exactly is going on. I would encourage you all, if you don't know what's happening, go back to the website. You can see it on the website of exactly what the downtown is. I believe the downtown vitalization is just ready to pop out and bloom, just like any tulip is just getting ready to bloom. You don't see anything, and then all of a sudden you see it. There's been work going on. Things are happening. Wait, it's gone. You're going to see it.
Nick Brummel, downtown.
Yeah, I think with the streetscapes that we're getting ready to start, it's going to make a huge difference. Once you start doing that, it's going to get more buzz down there. Even with the Eagle Cam and everything, more people are talking about Blue Springs. The more we get people talking about Blue Springs, the more they're going to want to start being in Blue Springs. We have some great businesses already down there, and we just need to add to it. And it's just going to be a process. I mean, our neighboring city, Lee Summit, it took almost 20 years for them to revitalize their downtown. So we have the process already in place to do the streetscape, and now it's just the next process will happen.
And finally, Brian Markworth, what's your thought on downtown?
I love downtown. So my vision is more than just a dream. I want to see it walkable as well. I do think that the walkability, possibly even bikeability, is going to lend towards that family-friendly area, somewhere where we can go and find something to do. We're not having to look to the next community over for where we want to go have dinner. I do think it's more than just a dream, though. I think it's going to take the effort of building those relationships with folks around the Kansas City area, within the region, to try and show them what Blue Springs is, to put in that effort of making sure that we have the restaurants, the nightlife, the stuff that this next generation wants, and that folks can still find something to do there. So.
All right. We're back to this end. This question goes first to Byron Cradoff. What in your non-political life, what in your personal life has helped you prepare for your role as a city council member in Blue Springs, Missouri?
When I first moved to Blue Springs, I came here, I worked in public safety as a park ranger, and I did a lot of public relations work, and I got to know people, and they came from different, I was in different cities in the county. So I became a public servant all of a sudden when I came back from college, and I didn't really plan to. And I was asked to join the commission. I first started in the solid waste. So I started learning from our great city council that's been here, and I give kudos to those that are here. And then in the past, I think they've done the best they can. And with them, I've learned how to do work in the city, and I've tried to find out what makes it tick, what makes it work, and how can we solve problems. So I think my experiences with people and talking to people and going out and being involved in the community has helped me and provided me this arena to get where I'm at now. And I think it's a big help, and I enjoy what I do, and hopefully we can make this city a better place someday.
Jerry Kaler.
Well, I was in public safety. I was a reserve sergeant with the Blue Springs PD for several years, over about 13 years. But the thing of it is, I learned as an electrician, 38 years of being an electrician, I built Bass Pros all over the United States and multi-million-dollar projects. And I was one of the top ones at the Kauffman Stadium when it was remodeled. I know inside and outside. I still get phone calls from architects today. So probably my past being an electrician and being a police officer has made it a whole lot better. And I'm outgoing. I talk to people. Those that don't know me have heard about me. Whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, it's still the same. But I with my experience doing that, I think that did it.
Nick Brummel, outside of politics, in your personal life, what do you bring to this role?
Yeah, I started a small business right after college to grow it to, we had over 85 employees before I sold it last summer. So building a business from the ground up and then turning around and dealing with the employees, and then also working with all of our clients on a daily basis, and then getting involved in different committees, from city committees to national association committees. Just basically being able to network and get to know people.
Brian Markworth, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so working in the quality control world, we often say make a plan and then work the plan, right? So using that experience of having that organization and then moving forward with what you have to do. Second, family of 6 in our house. You tend to care more about what's going on in the community around you, and it puts you in a position where, hey, I need to pay attention to this. I need to be part of this. I need to help make sure that the town that my kids are going to grow up in is the town that they want to see. Yeah, that's a lot of it. Last one would be just the building of relationships. The company I work for now, one of their core values is relationships and the power of what that can bring. So making sure that there's constant communication with folks in the community, representing them exactly how they want to see it. Yeah, that's it.
Jesse Grimm, what are your thoughts on that?
Personal life, public service. It's not just a job, it's a lifestyle. You really want to help out the community. That's why people will sign up and stay in the military. That's why people get into government service. It's because you want to do something important, something pivotal, something lasting for the city, and not for any personal gain. I don't want my name on a building. I just want to do this for each of you, because I live here too. I want my kids to be able to afford to live in a house and put their future children into the Blue Springs School District high schools. Because I had so much fun when I moved here on orders to Whiteman. That's what made me move to Blue Springs, is because of those schools and give my kids the opportunity that it provided. I want everybody's future generations to have that same opportunity. Thanks.
I should point out that the Blue Springs Chamber does a lot of work to make this event happen every year, and part of that work is soliciting these questions. These all come from members or even maybe a 3x5 handed tonight. So we have time for one more before we go to short closing statements. This one will go first to Jerry Kaler. Are there any other areas of importance besides Adams Dairy? What will you do to bring life to our city outside of Adams Dairy?
Adams Dairy. Well, one good thing is we're getting ready to have a right turn at ADP in Duncan. That is long overdue. That is long overdue. But that's one of the things. I don't think that ADP is actually the key for being the core or center of the downtown. Blue Springs is when this plan goes through and we start doing the downtown, it's going to be amazing. And I think people are going to be surprised with the wider sidewalks, so you can walk down them. And I think the businesses will be coming that way. And I'm, for one, pushing more to the downtown. That's not in my district, but let's face it, downtown needs to grow.
Nick Rummel, I'm at pains to point out there's nothing wrong with the occasional provocative question. So, Nick, is there more to life than Adams Dairy Parkway?
Let me just answer yes and move on. Yeah. So no, I mean, there's so much more. There's 7 Highway, right? There's revitalization that needs to happen on 7 Highway at some point. There's 40 Highway that we need to revitalize at some point. And then there's South 7 Highway that is farmland right now. At some point, responsible development needs to go in down there. So all areas of the city have opportunities, and we'll get there.
Brian Markworth, what are your thoughts on this?
Repeat that question one more time.
Yeah,
One last
the
time.
question comes in this form. Are there any other areas of importance besides Adams Dairy Parkway? What will you do to bring life to our city outside of Adams?
Outside of Adams Dairy Parkway. So Witch Chapel is going to be where we're going to see some more growth. So if downtown is going to be able to be judged on whether or not there's a success, it's full of Blue Springs people. It's going to be full of Blue Springs people, Independence people, Lee Summit folks. It's going to be more than just Blue Springs folks. So if we're pulling people from Independence, they're going to be coming off the interstate there at Witch Chapel. We are rejuvenating Walnut to bring us into downtown from that side. So it's not going to hurt to keep developing Witch Chapel. We need to make sure we don't forget Witch Chapel. 7 Highway, yes, it's got plenty of updates. Adams Dairy is going to grow. We don't need to worry about thinking it's not going to by focusing anywhere else. So I am excited to see how the west side of town is going to keep up with the newness of everything else.
Jesse Grimm, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. That west side, lots of opportunities there. From Woods Chapel to North 7, as well as down south. We need to have more forums where we're not just having districts converse, but more open forums where you got more than 3 minutes to discuss your opinions. And we can talk about perhaps bringing in a concert venue or a stadium so that the Wildcats can host a national event. They compete nationally with the Golden Regiment. Why we don't take advantage of that and host here? We can have thousands of people coming in. We can have hotels, and there's a ton of revenue that is possible if we had just given it an opportunity. So yeah, there's lots of locations, and again, it starts with making sure our funding is right, making sure the infrastructure can handle it, from trash to sewer to water, and yeah, there's just the sky's the limit, but we need to involve everybody.
And finally, Byron Cradoff, the Adams Dairy hot potato goes to you.
So repeat the question.
Sure. The question was written as follows. Are there any other areas of importance besides Adams Dairy Parkway? What are you going to do to bring life to our city outside of that area?
Well, great question there. First of all, there's a lot of areas other than Adams Dairy Parkway that needed addressing. but especially that, because they're all, especially all the major thoroughfares that are heavily traveled. We've got issues right now with fiber being introduced. They're tearing up the roads, putting that in. We've got energy companies that are doing work, construction work, that we're having problems with some places. We need to repair all of those and make sure that all of our roads that are traveled frequently are safe to go down. We've got, they're talking about Woods Chapel, 15th Street, Walnut. There's a lot of areas that need addressing, and we need to pay closer attention to those and take care of those more often, because people utilize these roads every day. And I think we could do a better job there. We need to come together and talk about how we can do that, because that's a huge issue. The roads, people want to do developments, and every time we talk about those, we run into issues about our roads. So we need to pay closer attention to that.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Those are our questions. We will now go to 1 minute closing statements by each of the 5 candidates. And Nick Brummel, you're up first.
No, I just want to say it's been an honor to serve this city for the last year and 3 months. And I look forward to continuing to serve this city, and always available via the phone and the email, and always walking around the city. So if anybody sees me, I'm always available. Thank you.
Brian Markworth.
Yeah, thanks for putting this on, Chamber Examiner. District 2 will be getting a new city council member. Current incumbent is stepping on to that next phase of life, and so Blue Springs will see new face on the council, and it's got to have somebody who's willing to put in the work, somebody that's willing to show up, have that passion, have that effort, and I'm sure excited to get up there and give this thing a shot. I've got a lot of passion for Blue Springs. I really want to see the best version of Blue Springs, and it's going to take work. It's going to take the input of every person in this room. And I'd like to sure be that person that can kind of help facilitate it. So thanks again for showing up. I love the full room, and love to talk with you anytime between now and April 7th, and then plenty of the time afterwards if you've got time. Thank you.
Jesse Grimm, please, a 1 minute of closing thoughts.
Obviously, I want to thank everybody in the room for showing up. This is a lot of fun. This is what I'm looking forward to, having more like town hall feel, like questions and answers, a little more input from you guys, but guided discussions on how to develop things. That's the big passion, is to make sure we build those conduits of communication. That's going to get everybody to buy in. And we're going to be able to deal with things like too many trash trucks tearing up the roads on every single day, and going by your neighborhood, because we have 4 or 5 different services. Like, it's a little ridiculous. Again, finding solutions for what we need. And yeah, I really look forward to building those relationships and working together and ushering a new phase of Blue Springs, bring us back to what made us great, the reason why I moved here in the first place 9 years ago.
Byron Cradoff, closing thoughts?
This campaign has always been about moving our community forward and getting results where it matters the most. From day one, I've been clear: we need to fix our streets, strengthen our public safety, and support smart, responsible growth. From 15th Street to Adams Dairy to Woods Chapel to I-70 and along Mock Road, you see it every day, and so do I. We can do and we must do better. That means holding contractors accountable when fiber and sewage projects tear up and when our roads and impact our neighborhoods. You should hear you may hear similar ideas here tonight, but leadership isn't about repeating the right words. It's about consistency, accountability, and getting the job done. I believe in our community where families feel safe, where businesses want to invest, and where our infrastructure reflects the pride we have where we live. Our city must always operate with fairness, transparency, and respect for every resident. As a council member, I will work hard to make sure our policies protect everyone and keep our community safe. I would be honored to earn your vote on April 7th. Thank you.
And finally, 60 seconds of closing thoughts from Jerry Kaler.
My record speaks for itself. I'm a hands-on guy. I'm out about in my district every day. I'm retired. I talk with people every day, and they are able to get a hold of me. If there is an issue, they call me. I answer the phone, and we respond. I represent and I listen to the people in District 1. I've been doing it, and I love it. And because I can push the way to help make things happen in District 1, we've had that proven record doing that. And there's things coming down the pike that's been going on for quite some time. And just like I said, this is spring coming up. Everything's starting to blossom. And so it's some things that are happening. And some of the new stuff that's coming, you're going to see it coming down the pike. And it didn't happen last night. It took some time to cultivate it and bring it forth.
Thank you, candidates.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today, and thank you for taking questions. We will move on to our candidates for the Blue Springs Board of Education. So we'll give our city council folks a half a second to get out of the way. No, to make their way out, and everybody can just exhale for a minute or take a half a second break here. Nick. Excuse, sir. Yep, thank you, Jerry. Thanks, Jared.
Where are we?
Well, let me run through that. So let's move on to the school board folks. Are they all, everybody coming down? Okay. We had everyone here? Missing one? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, do the bell thing there, John. There we are. We had a drawing. There's no prize. We had a drawing the order in which the candidates would answer questions. And it goes a lot more easily if people kind of sit in that order. So it goes, 1 is Joe Frigo. 2 is Joseph Donahue. 3 is Allison. Is it Allison, right? Yep, Johnston. 4 is Rebecca Swank. And at the far end is Ken Harrell. Again, 5 humans, 2 microphones. You're in charge of our young people's education. We hope you can figure this out. Okay. All right. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for his or her opening statement. After that, we will move on to the question and answer session. And again, John Burke is keeping time. He's got, you don't want that sound. And he'll show you when you're down to what, 30 seconds, and he'll have a big red thing that says you're done. And right. So you're good so far, now you're not. See, that's pretty straightforward. All right. Let's start with the opening statements from our candidates. First up is Joe Frigo.
Good afternoon, everybody. Really glad that you're inviting me to be able to talk here this afternoon. Great to see all the faces here. So I gave a little bit about my background. So married, 4 kids. So kids ages 13, 12, twins that are almost 10. So very busy household, all the kids in the school district. A little bit about my professional background. So I was in the military on the Army for 7 years. I got out of the Army, moved here to Kansas City, to Blue Springs, and have been working in manufacturing and logistics for the past 11 years. So really my biggest reasons for wanting to run for the school board is that I really love the schools, love the teachers, the administrators, feel super blessed to be a part of the community, and really just want to give back. So that's really the biggest purpose. Each of the students in the school district, they have purpose, they have interests, they have strengths, and really want to bring those out so that way we can help them in their future careers after school. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now have an opening statement of 2 minutes from Joseph Donahue.
Hello, everybody. So I'm originally from St. Louis. So I came over here about 5 years ago. I had a daughter that went through Blue Springs. I have a son that's a freshman in Blue Springs as well. The main reason why I'm running is for the future. I work in manufacturing, electronic manufacturing. So our major shift is, again, AI. Okay, there's going to be a major shift in the economy in the United States. Okay, we're all aware of it. My biggest fear, my son came to me and said, what do I do? How am I going to survive? Don't worry about it, we'll figure it out, right? That made me look at the schools to figure out, what are we doing? How do we prepare the future to survive and to thrive, to give them the ability to dream, to compete? That's why I'm running. I think the culture will be shifting soon. Okay, we got to deal with the technology and teach them how to use it as a tool and not get lazy. That's the main reason why I'm running.
Opening statement, 2 minutes, Allison Johnston.
First, thank you for having us, and thanks to CJC for hosting, and happy to be here. I'm Allison Johnston. I'm running for Blue Springs School Board because I truly believe that a school district is the heart of our community. And I'm a parent of 2 in the district, a Blue Springs graduate myself, a wife of a firefighter. So we're heavily involved in the community and love being here. Over the last 5 years, I've been a volunteer for Blue Springs Pop Warner, where we're directly impacting over 200 Blue Springs youth and their families throughout the whole year. I have an elementary education degree from William Jewell College, and professionally, I've been in program management for the last decade plus. I have decided I wanted to run for school board over a year ago, but I knew I needed to kind of better understand what a school board does and what challenges our educators are facing and our students are facing in the future. So I started attending board meetings and work sessions for the last 14 or 15 months and learning so much and just developing an even larger desire to give back to the community that has poured so much into me over my whole lifetime. So thank you.
An opening statement from Rebecca Swank.
Good afternoon. I'm Rebecca Swank, and for the past 3 years, I've had the honor of serving as a school board member in this district. Prior to wanting to run initially 3 years ago for the role of being on the school board, I got to participate in the strategic planning session that pulled in individuals throughout the community and involved educators and involved business leaders and involved community citizens, parents, and that really opened my eyes to all of the great things that our district is doing and all the amazing opportunities that our students have for them. And that was the biggest spark to want to be a part of the Board of Education. I am a proud parent of 2 kiddos in the district. I am the proud graduate of this district, and I'm the daughter of an educator from this district. I am very excited to continue to serve this district as a board member and would appreciate your vote on April 7th to continue to do that. I am very passionate about Blue Springs and this community and all of the opportunities that come with being in this district for our students, for our families, and I'm just very excited for what the future holds. Thank you.
And finally, a 2-minute opening statement from Ken Harrell.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all so much for being here. Certainly do appreciate it. My background is a little different from the rest of them. We are 25-year residents here in Blue Springs, but from an educational perspective, we've lived from my career, we've kind of lived all over the country. So our kids have been in both public schools and private schools. We've been in school districts from Detroit to Orange County, California. My dear wife was a paraprofessional here at the Liggett Trail Education Center. So we have a real kind kind of diverse background, I guess I would say. And from a school perspective, we do have two of our sons graduated from Blue Springs High School. We have two grandkids in the high school today. So, or in the high school, boy, they'd shoot me for that. One's in elementary school and one's in Brittany Hill Middle School. But in any event, so I'm running for the school board because there's nothing more important than education. And we have 15,000 kids out here in the Blue Springs School District, all of whom are relying on us and on all of you. And there's nothing more important to the future of our community, things that we certainly won't see as we live down the road. So my goal is to give back for now, to see what happens in the future, to build a stronger community and a stronger educational foundation for the city of Blue Springs. Thank you.
All right, thank you, candidates. We'll move on to questions now. And this question will go first to Joseph Donovan, and we'll just go down. Donahue. It's right in front of me. Donahue. It's not a forum if I don't get some names wrong, people out of order and all that sort of thing. I'll go first to you, and then we'll go down the row and then come back to this end. There are 1 minute answers. So we're going to start with a two-part question, but I think you guys can handle this. The state is moving toward assigning schools an A through F letter grade to simplify how school performance is communicated to families and the community. Question is this: do you support that approach? And then, beyond a single letter grade, how should the Blue Springs School District measure whether students are truly mastering core skills such as reading, writing, arithmetic?
Okay, so do I support a letter grade? I would say yes. And the reason is that basically it's very simple and it's a standard. Okay. We, as a transplant family, we came to Blue Springs because of the school district. Okay. So I see nothing wrong with competition. And what was very interesting is listening to the candidates here. That would be for city council. They never mentioned how important the schools are. We are the anchor, right? This is why everybody comes. This is why Blue Springs grows. I'm sorry, what was B?
Well, B is beyond the A through F. What does the district do to communicate whether students are really grasping what they need to get?
Again, we go through the standardization test, right? One of the things that was really crazy with my son is when he was in junior high or middle school, they were doing Spanish. Moves over to high school, he has problems with Spanish. Now, I wish I could say he was an F student. He was a decent student. The entire class that he went through has a problem with high school Spanish. There's a problem with standardization.
Allison Johnston, the other way, yeah. Is that a good idea or bad idea? And what should the district do beyond that?
I was telling Rebecca I could get on a soapbox about this. I firmly disagree with the grading of schools from A to Z. If you look at the legislation that's out, it's limiting for the number of A's you can have, which kind of pits schools against each other, which then ultimately kind of drives public school down. And as I said at the beginning, I think public school is the heart of a community. And so what we want to do is be building schools up versus pitting them against each other and those kind of things. If I'm looking at the best way to assess our success, obviously the state already has several things in place. And honestly, I think Blue Springs has done a great job of employing the right educators and making sure we have the right people in place to make our students successful and to make sure Blue Springs School District continues to be on the top of assessments and our grades.
Rebecca Swank, A through F, yes or no?
No.
And how do you communicate mastery of school core skills beyond that?
Well, I think we're doing it already, right? We are checking in with our students. We have interventionists, we've got literacy coaches, and we've got fluency instructors. We have all of these opportunities here to support students, and they're doing the job. And so I think that we have the standards here. We have set the bar high, and that's why people are moving to Blue Springs for our schools. So we're already doing it, and we just need to continue to do it. We need to continue to pour into our schools.
Ken Harrell, your thoughts?
What she said. I absolutely disagree with it as well. And certainly Rebecca outlined a lot of the things that that are in place today, the very good things, the things that all of us support, and the things that make us such a quality school district. If you think about letter grades, one of the things that the proposal is they're looking to limit, say, the number of A's. So how would you like to go into a class and know that only 5% of the people have a chance to get an A? How would that make you feel? Probably not real good. Conversely, if you're a parent and your school is a C or a D, how does that make you feel about your school just based on what you know about what's an A, B, C, or D? So with that, I'm definitely against it.
Joe Frigo, what are your thoughts on A's and B's and C's and D's?
Well, overall, I am a advocate of having a system of accountability to be able to continuously grow. So I'm used to that in the career that I'm in. And as long as you keep the focus on the mission, so the mission of the school district is to be able to educate our students, to be able to ensure that they have the successful careers after school, and then we keep that as the focus and guide our evaluation system towards that. I'd be a proponent of that, maybe not necessarily A through F, but some sort of system of accountability to be able to ensure that we have great standards. I mean, like I said before, love the school district. I mean, tons of positives there. There's always opportunities to continuously improve there. So the biggest thing I would say is ensure that we are continuing to grow, is transparency and how the growth is, how we're performing as a school. So that way, not just as a school district, but as a state, that we're continuing to do the best thing that we can to be able to educate our youth. Thank you.
This next question goes to Allison Johnston first. What do you see as the most important thing that the Blue Springs School District should be focusing on in the next 5 to 10 years? How will you work to get that done?
We had a forum yesterday, and I think the universal topic was funding. Missouri ranks 50 out of 50 in our country for funding, and they're looking to lower it even further. So with that in mind, that has to be a board's primary focus, and the focus has to be keeping good educators and good administrators in our schools, in our classrooms, keeping our schools safe, the resource officers, and then obviously keeping the services and the programs that make Blue Springs School District so great, and all the opportunities that our students have today, finding ways, creative ways probably, to keep those things if funding continues to go down.
Rebecca Swank, the biggest issue.
I'll pivot from funding because that is by far one of the hot items on our list and number one priority. But I will say 5 years down the road, I am so excited to see what the CIC and possible phase 2 is going to look like for our students and the opportunities that are going to grow from that. I got to tour the facility over spring break, and I got to take my kids with me. And their minds were blown. They were so excited, like, I could learn how to bake, or I could learn how to do this, and there's a green screen, and look at the construction crew, and just the opportunities were limitless. And so I'm so excited to see how we can continue to generate productive citizens beyond graduation. What does that look like into adulthood? And I'm just so excited for those opportunities, and I'm really excited to see what phase 2 could look like in supporting our trades and all the opportunities there.
Ken Harrell, what's your number one?
Well, I certainly agree with, in terms of the future, certainly agree with phase 2 of the CIC. There's no question that that is needed for the development of the trades. But I am going to come back to funding a little bit, because I think probably the greatest thing that we have to do is each of us, everyone in this room, needs to be advocates to our state legislators. The things that are going on in Jefferson City, for whether it's the income tax to sales tax proposal, whether it's property taxes, whether it's the foundation formula, which funds our schools, which is being underfunded now, we could go on for quite some time with the list. The number one thing we need are advocates, and we need all of us in the city to advocate with our legislators to support public education.
Joe Frigo, next 5 to 10 years, what's the single biggest thing?
All right, I'm also going to hit on the funding piece there. So we talk about all of the different opportunities we have in the school district. They do cost money. There's risk. There's been talk of There's different revenue streams from the state being cut or reduced, and just like at a single household, if there's risk of your income reducing or losing a job, like the first thing you got to look at is, all right, is there anything that we can trim from the budget to be able to, if that does become a case there, to make sure that we're focusing funds on the correct thing. And also going back to those in Jefferson City. So we do a lot of talk of going to Jefferson City and talking to them to advocate to our politicians there. I would like to also put together data and show, hey, if we lose funding, this is the impact. A lot of time doing that impact analysis that can be able to show the picture there for what we're losing out on if we lose that funding. And I'd like to bring the politicians out to be able to show them as well, walk them through our campuses and be able to show them. Thank you.
Joseph Donahue, what do you think?
For the growth, okay, so I'm just going to give this one. I think it was last year, Ford CEO put down a glove basically saying he's putting $525 million out there for funding. They're looking for 5,000 automotive technicians at 120,000. Okay, the school attracts other people to come here. If we can bring industry here, we have the funding. If we become world class and drive and change the culture to drive to be the best, they will come. You don't have to build it. We have it here. We just have to fine tune it.
This next question will start with Rebecca Swank. Knowing that tax money does not follow students when they transfer from one district to another, do you support school choice? Please give a yes or no, and I'll add, please go for another 59 seconds beyond that if you feel the need to do so.
No, I do not support open enrollment, school of choice. I think what a difficult thing to budget for and to plan for if we have no idea how many students are going to be coming to our district from outside districts and the local dollars are not following them. How do we plan for class sizes? How do we plan for all of the other supports that we provide? We are incredible with the amount of attention that we give to our students. And I just would hate to put a greater burden on our citizens to lift up the students that are coming from outside districts. So I am very anti-open enrollment.
Ken Harrell, open enrollment, yes or no?
No. For the exact same reasons that Rebecca just mentioned. It's tough following her, I'll tell you, let me tell you. But no, I am not at all in favor of open enrollment. And, you know, if you think about that as a district, we would be the ones on the receiving end, most likely. You know, I think all of us agree our schools are outstanding here. We're probably not going to get a lot of people leaving Blue Springs. We're probably going to get quite a few more coming into Blue Springs. And, you know, I'm sure there's things we haven't thought about, whether it's transportation, whether it's school lunch programs, whether it's, you know, beyond even the just the economic factor, which again would add to that long list we've talked about before. So for those reasons, no, I am not in favor of school choice.
Joe Friga, your thoughts?
Say yes, but with very strict control measures. So conceptually, I think it's a great idea to be able to have that flexibility and opportunity. When it comes down to implementation, it becomes very difficult, especially in a school district that very large schools at max capacity in a lot of the schools. So I'd say we could make control measures for each of the schools, capacity limits, set student to teacher to student ratios, and understanding that the tax dollars don't follow those students. So when we're talking tens or hundreds or thousands, I mean, that's not going to be feasible there with those tax dollars not coming. But if we set those strict control measures, and there's an opportunity where maybe one or two people where we can make that difference for that one student, that one student's family, then I'd be for that in those types of cases there. Thank you.
Joseph Donahue, open enrollment, yes or no?
So I'm a yes. And the reason is that as our population starts aging, right, their families move out, kids are born, grandkids are come to us as a gift, and now they want to come, and you're still paying taxes, and they want to come to Blue Springs for better education. Do we say no? Even though I'm still paying for it? Or do I say yes? I mean, you as a property owner, you are paying for it whether you have kids or not. So I think it's a very beautiful way of saying we are the best. You got people coming. So we are doing something very good. We benchmark. It is a money issue, but the question is that if you're a grandparent and you want your grandchildren to have the best education and you can have it, why not?
Allison Johnston, yes or no on the on open enrollment and thoughts beyond that?
The short is no. I'm definitely opposed to open enrollment, the vouchers, all those kind of things. Funding is obviously a huge topic, and the tax dollars in the proposed bills do not follow the students coming to our district. And obviously, as Ken said, we would be much more concerned about kids coming to our district versus leaving, because Blue Springs School District is great. I was writing down notes so I could try to add something to the conversation, because I echo a lot of what Rebecca and Ken said. One thing we talked about yesterday is they say that we can have local control, but then there might be like an unfunded mandate already. You know, a couple board meetings ago, we were talking about our language arts and the curriculum that's coming down, and that costs money to retrain all your teachers. And so that comes from the state down. And this would be another thing. And it's kind of a slippery slope when you're looking at open enrollment on, you know, how much choice you get.
This next question will go first to Ken Harrell, and we'll come back to this end. Compared with those you're running against, what makes you different and more qualified to take on a role on this school board?
I'm glad I don't get to follow Rebecca on that one. Well, I have worked real hard to get prepared for this candidacy and for this run. Like Allison had mentioned, I've been to many school board meetings, work sessions, but beyond that, I've had a lot of experience working with different boards and commissions within the city to kind of learn about how the world of the public world works, because my background being in the private sector, believe me, is way different than what it's like working within the public sector. So I've chaired several boards and commissions with the city, been appointed by the mayor, approved by the city council, had the opportunity to really get involved and invested in this city. And I don't know if that makes me more or less qualified than the other candidates, but I do know that it really has grounded me in the city of Blue Springs.
Joe Frigo, what sets you apart? What makes you more qualified?
All right, not necessarily. I mean, right, other candidates have the same experience as well. But like I mentioned at the very beginnings, a father of 4 kids, I have a very vested interest to make sure that the schools in our district are successful there. I want to see my kids be successful, their friends, all the students within the district there. So just the practicality of having 4 kids that have that vested interest there for the school district. Throughout my career, so I've managed in the military and private sector my entire career, constantly problem solving, working with smaller groups, large groups, setting policy, managing different conflict resolutions. So the things I've talked about, open enrollment, funding, those are interesting to me as well in terms of, all right, we have to talk about them one way or another. So we have to put teams together, be able to problem solve, to be able to come up with a solution, to be able to meet the needs of the district.
Joseph Donahue, what are your thoughts on that?
So what makes me qualified is basically out of industry. I'm a turnaround guy. Okay. I created an AI for managing money. I've done that, and problem solving. Now, industry versus public, there is a difference. The difference is that I work for you, right? So if we have issues, I have to go to you and say, I need help because it's public. So one of the other thing that's very interesting, again, with the city council, we don't work together. Why is that? I mean, we are preparing future employees, future entrepreneurs, future people to drive this town to greatness. We need to have a single voice and to help each other grow our future, and that's our children.
Allison Johnson, your thoughts on that? What makes you more qualified?
It's hard amongst a lot of qualified people up here. I have an elementary ed degree in a bachelor's from William Jewell, and just the brief experience feels so brief now, gave me so much insight into the school districts and ultimately led me to wanting to get more involved into the school district. I have been attending board meetings and work sessions for 14 months, I believe is what the number is now. I've spoken to the board members to get their insight, to understand what our struggles are. I've talked to administrators at school. I've just really tried to dive in over the last year so that as a candidate, I'm informed, I'm ready, and ready to kick off from day one and really get started as a board member.
Rebecca Swank, what sets you apart from the other folks on the ballot?
Well, I've had the joy of having the experience, but beyond that, I have had the privilege of serving as the board chair for the Blue Springs Chamber of Commerce. I get to currently sit on their foundation as the chair of that. I get to work for a nonprofit where we create employment opportunities and meaningful days for adults with disabilities. And so I see the continuum of care beyond graduation into adulthood, and how we can continue to support all students, no matter ability. And I am just very proud to be a part of this district. And I am just very excited about the future. And one thing about this board that I have just really appreciated in my time, because it was a strange 3 years, was the way we have come together as a board, specifically in this past year, of all of us sharing not the same voice, because we all have different perspectives and we come from different Stop. I got the stop.
You didn't get
I
the
don't
horn.
want the horn. That was such a straight face, too.
He was going to give you some more time.
No.
Are we done, John? What are we doing here? Are we? Okay. I think I've lost control of the group. This next question, we're back at this end. This next question will go first to Joe Frigo. The question is submitted as this: our employee pool isn't very diverse here. What will you do to ensure that our employee pool reflects the growing diversity in our city?
Yep, absolutely. So as part of one thing I'd like to get through doing like voice of the customer, talking to people in the community, is finding out where those jobs are at currently, both locally, state, nationally, with technology, with AI. That landscape is changing based off of what will be available now, will be available in the future. So I definitely want to collect that feedback, so that way we can shape how we focus our education system to be ensure that we're preparing kids for jobs that will be available. So I see a lot of those that will be pertinent for now, years to come. STEM related fields, trades, still a growing need there. Continue to be a need there. So those are some of the big areas that I want to be able to focus to make sure that we have that diverse population to be able to meet those needs within those types of fields. Thank you.
Joseph Donahue, how do we get a more diverse employee pool in this school district?
Well, what's very interesting is I think 2 days ago, Blue Springs South had a career day, which maybe some of you already went to interview some students. What was interesting is that where we fell short was that I asked my son, do you have a jobs board on your web page? That would be the school page. And we didn't find one. So there's a disconnect, right? So one of the things that at my company that we try to do, we do reach out. But when I talk to the principals, nobody reaches out to the companies. Nobody calls HR. You guys are out, some of you self-employed people, entrepreneurs that have small businesses. Do you go to the high school to see what's there? What is your pool? Do we teach our kids how to fill stuff out? Do they know how to do taxes? Can they do a job interview? Do we reach out to the government for job training?
Fred Stein. John, we'll get you. Allison Johnston, your thoughts?
When I look at looking at a diverse population of teachers and staff, Blue Springs offers a ton of things that I wouldn't have known if I hadn't been attending the board meetings, from the health services to our resource officers. But then also at any given time, we have students that speak multiple languages, and we need the staff to be able to support students that come in speaking multiple languages, our special education. So I think when I'm focusing on that, we need to make sure we're employing people that have the ability to pivot quickly, be flexible, to support every student that comes through the door to make sure they're successful when they graduate high school.
Rebecca Swank, how do we get an employee pool or an employee workforce that looks like the community?
Yeah, well, when I hear the word diverse, I think of different, right? So we're all have different backgrounds and experiences. And so we do have a great portal on our website that has all the opportunities available out there. And I think it's just us continuing to share the opportunities that we have and making sure that as our students graduate, that they know the opportunities that are available for them to come back and be educators, to help us with the trades classes when we get to that second phase, to come back and help with our lunch programs, to do all those different things. And so I think that their opportunities are there. We just need to continue to voice them.
Ken Harrell.
Well, I think the operative word here is we need to recruit. You know, if we want to make our staff more diverse to represent the community, we need to recruit that way. The Blue Springs School District has some wonderful programs in effect for recruiting. The Grow Your Own program, which is a great program through the school district. A new one, I think it was this year instituted, is the Student Teacher Retention Program. We haven't even talked about the shortage of teachers and retaining teachers. But this year we are actually paying our student teachers and giving them a retention bonus if they come back and stay within the district. So recruiting the right people, that's the right thing. And I think that onus is on all of us, really, whether it's the administration or the school board or faculty in the buildings, to be sure that we're reaching out to the community and as a whole.
This next question goes first to Joseph Donahue. Any thoughts on year-round school? Year-round school.
Oh, that's a good one. So I never really, we thought about it. I mean, basically, I grew up in a farming community, so basically, summertime was work time for most of us kids. So as far as year-round school, I would not see an issue with it. I mean, as long as we would have a break so everybody can go on vacation, because, you know, basically everybody goes on family vacation for summertime. So I see no issue with it. I really don't. I think it would probably be good because the students would retain more knowledge. They wouldn't slip. We wouldn't have to waste probably 30 days in re-educating them when they come back from school or from break, I mean.
Allison Johnston, what are your thoughts?
This is a question I haven't been asked, so it's kind of fun. I'm trying to think of, I think when you think of a board, you're one of 7. So if we're looking at like making those kind of decisions, obviously it wouldn't just be an Allison decision, but I'm so curious what the cost would look like of that, how the resources would look. I could definitely see benefits into, you know, that the summertime, there's always some retention loss there. But it's hard to have an informed decision without really looking at the numbers, would be my opinion.
All right. Rebecca Swank, year-round school, what do you think?
My initial impression is that I am not most favorable for it. I think about when we're talking about retention of our educators, I just think about everybody needing that time to revive and to relax and to recharge and to be ready to come back to inspire our students and to have amazing classrooms and to get things refreshed. And then I think about all of the opportunities that come from just the maintenance of our facilities and all the work that gets done over the summers. And so I think it would just be really tricky. Again, like Allison said, I like to look at the data and the numbers before I just jump in. Oh, and my kids would probably revolt. But outside of them, let's not make a decision based on the Swink children. But I think I would have to see the data. But just like that's my initial heart and gut reaction to that question.
Ken Harrell, year round, yes, no, something else?
Yeah, I'm kind of mixed on that one. I think there's pros and cons. I think they've articulated some of each. To me, the answer to that question really revolves around the community and the stakeholders in the community. It's, what do the parents think? What do the teachers think? What are the pros and cons? We've got a system in the school district with the blueprint system, where we actually bring together educators and families and parents and to really try to get, the right solutions to some of the problems. There's probably pros and cons to both of them. I know the way that it does work is on a trimester system. So if anyone's ever been through school and been on a trimester, it works similar to that. But in any event, I think we need a lot of input from the key stakeholders to make that decision.
Joe Frigo, what do you think?
I think overall, I'm not a proponent of that. So I'd keep the summers the way that they are. They are still, ensure, like we talked about before, preparing them for the future, making sure they're well educated. They have the knowledge base to be able to have those successful careers afterwards. They are still kids, though. I'd keep summers the way that they are, but I'd be open to feedback and discussion to be able to get convinced otherwise or whatnot. But overall, I'd say keep summers the way that they are. Thanks.
This question goes first to Allison Johnston. What in your non-political, non-public policy, your personal life outside of the school board, what is it in your life that's helped you prepare for a role in this school board?
I feel like I'm going to be a broken record now because I've said a few times. Apart from attending the board meetings, talking with current board members and administrators, it's weird to say that Pop Warner Blue Springs would have prepared me for a school board. Obviously, it's a much smaller scale, 200 kids, but you deal with parents a lot and you have to take a lot of feedback and you have to really evaluate where you are, make changes based on what you're hearing from the kids, from the coaches, from the parents and the families. So I would say that definitely applies here. I think as a board member, it's essential to get out into schools, go show support for staff. So support for all the schools, all the middle schools, the fine arts, the games, all the things it's important as a board member to show up.
Rebecca Swank.
Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah. What about it says here non-political life or even non-public policy life, your personal life outside of this? What about that part of your life makes you better at this?
Yeah. So I think I've mentioned earlier, I'm the daughter of an educator. And so getting to see how my mom operated as a teacher, and the day for her never ended when the bell rang. It would follow her home where she's grading papers, she's creating lesson plans, she's reevaluating lesson plans. Like that did not go the way I thought it would. And then, testing it on my brother and I, be like, what do you think of this idea? And just on the fly. And so those are all things that I think are really kind of helped lay the groundwork. The second piece is I got to be a substitute teacher in college, and I did every grade level, and I had the most fun, and it was the most rewarding and challenging experience getting to see that. The best was getting to substitute middle school band. It was so much fun. And then in my professional life, being working in a nonprofit, that is semi-political because I am beholden to our stakeholders. I am always trying to seek ways to support the individuals that we serve, and so I think all of that together, plus my experience with the chamber and other boards, has prepared me for this.
You just made it.
Almost.
You just made it.
Almost had a moment there. All right. Not a good one. Ken Harrell, what is in your life has prepared you for the outside of running for school board? What's prepared you for this?
Well, you're going to be real surprised at the first part of this answer, but I've spent about the last 30 years being very involved in the scouting program. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with scouting, have had sons and daughters go through the program, but it has been a tremendous learning experience for me. And I've worked from the basic level at the unit level all the way through the district and national level in programming. And all of that is with school age youth. And that has really helped give me a working knowledge of how to interact with the kids and talk about diversity. It is an incredibly diverse group. So, but beyond that, yeah, I had a professional career in sales management, strategic planning, customer marketing. So I've had a pretty broad experience base, which I think will really help me look at problems and help solve problems from a broad perspective.
Joe Frigo, what are your thoughts on this?
Overall, professionally, so from my experience in the military and in business, so I've done everything from tactical, daily, weekly, monthly execution goals to more strategic, looking at 5, 10, 15-year plans for where we want to head as organizations. From a personal level, so coach basketball and baseball in the winter, baseball in the spring, teach kids church at our local church here. So I have definitely appreciation for one. It's super rewarding just to be able to see kids grow throughout the year. I mentioned at the forum yesterday, being able to come back to a new sports season and seeing just how kids matured and just to see them. Some of them that I've coached have been from 2nd grade to now 6th grade. So really rewarding, and it gives it a little bit of a taste to what a teacher may go through. So it's an hour, 2-hour spurts, but get that appreciation for, hey, our teachers go through this 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So something to have a little bit of a taste for how to be able to help develop kids. Thanks.
Joseph Donahue, what in your personal life prepares you for this?
So what in my personal life prepares me for this? Again, I'll lean on industry. So again, I am a continuous improvement manager. So I had to deal with a lot of diversity as far as changing styles, changing processes, teaching people how to accept the change, to motivate people. I had to spend a year in China building a plant. So with no Chinese, we did a lot of charades. So communication is key to everything. I look at one thing: the parents' voice of the customer, students' voice of the customer, and the teachers. That's who I work for. So that is the most important thing, is customer service and listening and seeing what we can change and to improve, to strive to be the best, to strive to make the school work for the community.
This is a question that we're back to Rebecca Swank kicking us off. I want to give the candidates a chance to say a little more about something that you've all kind of touched on. The voters of this community have supported this school district solidly for years. State of Missouri, different story. What are your thoughts about keeping public, and this person who underlined this word twice, what are your thoughts about keeping public schools fully funded?
Let's do it, guys. We solved it.
Well, oh yeah, 1 minute, by the way.
I mean, I think that there's so many different ways that we can go about this, but primarily it's just making sure that we're continuing to be a voice for our students and advocating in Jefferson City and in Jackson County. And the funding mechanisms that make our district work are when everything is ticking right along, right? So our budget process is so streamlined and so transparent. And if you come to our work sessions or our board meetings, we are looking at it quarterly. We are always diving in and looking at it. And so I just think it's us making sure that we share the data and the statistics with our elected officials in Jeff City and say what the perils will be if we are in a situation where we don't have income tax and we don't have property tax, and how that's going to harm our district and how it's going to negatively impact class sizes and other things of that nature. Do we get to hire new teachers when others retire and things of that nature?
Ken Harrell.
Well, of course,
public schools.
Public schools. Of course, we want to keep our public schools fully funded. I mean, that's why we're all here. So it's kind of a setup question, I guess, there a little bit. But to that extent, I'm just going to come back to what I said early on. And the best thing we can do is to advocate. We've had any number of presentations from Dr. Jerome at various chamber events and different breakfasts that we've attended, where he really articulates well the issues that are ahead of us. And the number one thing he asks everyone to do is to be an advocate to our state representatives. We haven't talked about the county, that's another story, but really to get out there and advocate, because clearly the school board administration have all been doing that, but the legislators want to hear from the people, and our voices really and truly do make a difference. So I think that is absolutely key.
Joe Frigo, do you have thoughts on this?
Yep, overall, I mean, data speaks. So sometimes given those visuals, to be able to help clearly portray what is impacted if we don't have that funding. So putting that data together to be able to show that impact analysis, they're super important there. I like to be able to, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, get the politicians out here as well to be able to show them through our campuses, like, hey, if we aren't fully funded, this is what we're missing out on here. So sometimes in work, I mean, we have those situations where you talk through PowerPoints, you talk through situations, maybe people don't quite get it. And then we go out to the factory and we look and we show, hey, this is the process. This is, if we don't get this, here's the ramifications. You can see it for yourself there. So sometimes that opens up people's eyes. So that'd be one thing I'd be a big advocate for, that I would push if I was elected to the board.
Joseph Donahue, what are your thoughts on funding for public schools?
Funding for public schools is basically up to the population, right? I mean, the school board spends it. You guys vote to give us the money. Question is, do we spend it correctly? Are we in the right area? Are we efficient? Are we top heavy? Do we have too many buses? I mean, I don't know the books, but I have never been where public schools have never been funded fully. The only reason why they might not have gotten funded fully is that the economy is going down. Okay, so it all becomes an income stream. It's taxes, and the people of Blue Springs votes on the tax. I believe we spend around $13,000 per student. I believe out of the dollar, it's 62 cents goes to the, somebody might correct me, but majority of the property tax goes to the schools.
And Allison Johnson, what are your thoughts?
I mean, obviously, I'd be supportive of fully funded public schools. One thing is that we have been fortunate in Blue Springs to have a lot of community support, which has always helped our schools get what we need to continue growing and thriving and staying up with the times. I think it's wonderful. We have a superintendent that is so active with our legislators. We had the Spring Into Giving event a month ago or so, and he had legislators sitting right there, and he spoke so confidently and so prepared to let them know why funding for us matters and why we can't continue to lose funding. I also think, obviously, keeping the community aware of all the great things that we're doing, where the different revenue streams have to go, is a huge thing that I wouldn't have known if I hadn't got more involved. So just informing the community so that they know where the money is going and why they need to keep supporting public school.
Running on time. We're going to be respectful of everyone's time. And so that's all the questions we're going to have time for today. We're going to move on to closing statements. Those, again, are 1 minute each. And we start with the far end with Ken Harrell.
All right. Well, the main thing is I didn't get the horn, and that was a real objective here after last night's forum.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the horn. So you can count that for time, John. But thank you to the chamber, and thank you to the examiner and to CJC. But more importantly, thanks to all of you for giving up your time today to come out and listen to us and get to know a little bit more about us and about the Blue Springs School District. I think what I would leave you with is, public education is just that. It's for the public. We service every child, every student. And we didn't get a chance to talk much about special needs and special students. And the term special needs, I think many of us have a kind of a narrow view of that, but there are many, many special needs out there that public education has the opportunity to address. And so from that respect, I think it's critical that we continue to support our public schools, and I hope to earn your vote on April the 7th. Thank you.
Close. Joe Frigo, a minute of closing comments.
All right, thank you everybody for the opportunity here this evening. The biggest thing I'd say to take away, I love the district, really thankful to be able to be a part of the district, for my kids to be able to go to school here. My wife and I, we've ever talked about in the past, like, hey, do we ever like move or whatnot? And it always comes down to like, well, if we do, it has to be within the boundaries of our school district, because we love the opportunities that we've been given here for our kids. So really just want to be able to give back to the community. At the end of the day, I want all of our kids to be successful, to have successful careers, to be able to pay their bills, and to be successful as in our communities, to be able to give back to our communities here. So that's really the biggest purpose, and just want to be able to serve and give back. Thank you.
Joseph Donahue, your closing thoughts.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm going to push, the reason why I'm here again, is the future, right? Future is going to change. Question is, as a school and being on the board, can we meet that future? Can we train our students to embrace it, to make it better, so they can live better than we did? That's what's coming. And are we prepared for it? And will we prepare for it? That's all.
Allison Johnston.
The heart of my why is that public school is the heart of our community, and it's everything to keep it strong and to keep moving forward. If I get this position or this spot on the board, I just promise to have a deep sense of responsibility. I think the first thing a board member needs to do is listen, and then the second thing to do is to act. And that's what I promise to do as a board member myself. I'm committed to the educators, to listening to their expertise, to our administrators, and then making decisions that make our students at the center of all of it. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And Rebecca Swank.
Well, thank you again to everybody for being here this evening. Thank you to the CJC FPD for hosting us, and to the Chamber and Jeff Fox, Examiner News. Thank you so much. I am just so honored to have served as a school board member, and it would be an immense honor to continue to serve as a school board member of this district. I have such a heart for public education and the opportunities that it provides for our students, for our families, and for the future. I am very excited about what the next few years are going to hold, future is going to hold, and all the opportunities that will come with that. Is that? Oh. It's the new horn. And I'm just, I could go on and on and on about all the things that I love about this district, and all the different ways that I will do everything in my power to continue to support and champion this district. Thank you so much. I'd appreciate your vote on April 7th. Thank you.
Very good. Let's have a round of applause for our candidates. Couple of things before we go, before I get honked at by John. There's a sheet out there with some candidate information. One line of that is incorrect. That's regarding council candidate Jesse Grimm. I'm going to get this right or wrong. I don't know. There's an email address. I'm going to give that. Okay, the email address for both, same as, right. So it's electjessegrimm.com. That's Jesse, Jesse, Grimm with 2 M's. So elect Jesse Grimm, JESSEGRIMM.com. And then the email is the same, only it's at Gmail. Right? So if you want to fix that on your sheet there, you can do that. In closing, we want to thank the candidates, all 10 of them, and all 10 on the ballot, and all 10 showed up. And the mayor showed up, and CJC showed up, and they gave us their information as well. And we really do appreciate this exchange of thoughts and ideas, coupled with some dialogue and perhaps the occasional provocative question among candidates. So we hope this was a rewarding and enlightening experience for everybody who was here. I want to thank Mayor Livesay, as I said earlier, for providing information, and to CJC. The Blue Springs Chamber of Commerce and the Examiner encourage everyone to do their part and exercise your right to vote and your sacred privilege to vote on April 7th. Early voting is underway on Election Day. That's a Tuesday. Polls in our state are open from 6 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. So there's a pretty good chance to get out and do that. So please do so. Thank you. Good night. Hey, good to meet you. Good to meet you. Yeah. There we go.
So much.
Thank you, ma'am. Good to meet you.